Hey guys, welcome to another video about vintage. In this case, it's going to be vintage Submariners, and we're going to be talking about different features and different sides of why those are interesting to collect or to own in general. So we have five Submariners here on the table. We have one 5512 and three 5513s from Rolex, and then the last one is going to be a 7016 no date from Tudor. They all share basically the same case, except for the Tudor that has little intricacies and that fits any ETA movement from the time. But in general, they're all the same case and bracelets from the time if they had them. In this case, I decided to put them on the leather bands just because they're really comfortable to wear. They're really casual and comfortable to wear on a daily basis. So that's why I generally tend to wear those watches on leather myself. Why 5513s? The 5513 is the no date Submariner from the time, and it's one of the classiest ones. What makes it so cool is that it's a very simple dial, just gives you time. They're not even chronometer approved, therefore they are quite nice to wear because of their simplicity overall. 5513s and 5512s started really early in the early 60s, 1960, 61. We see appearing a lot of them on the market. There's an overlap between the earlier models of Submariners and those stayed in the market until 1989, 1990. We still see a lot of 5513s appearing on the market from the late 80s. They're really perfect everyday wearers if you want a one watch collection or if you have a multitude of watches. It's something that you can wear without stressing too much. They're really sturdy, they're well designed, and they're thin enough that you don't bang them everywhere. What I like a lot about the 5513, and I have a few in my collection personally as well, the one thing, the one major reason is the dial. Dial has different aging throughout each one of them. That's why I have multiple ones right here. We're gonna go with the most modern one of them all. We showcased this one in a video in the past. So this is a 5513 from the 80s. Okay, so this one has a spiderweb dial. It's actually very spiderwebbed. You don't see it when you face the watch, but then when light hits an angle, the spider webbing is quite obvious. What's cool about those is that it is a major defect in the lacquer, yes, but again, each one aged differently. Might it be for the loom? Again, most of those in the 80s have a different color loom for the hand and the dial itself. That's very normal for the time, just because the dial and the hands most probably were not produced at the same time, and there's different processes or different mixes back in the time. So those are mostly aging differently from a watch to another. I like the fact that the 5513 from the 1980s has smaller plots. It's just making it a bit more modern, a bit more sleeker, and it just makes the whole dial look a bit bigger than it really is. Then I'm gonna jump to the Bart Simpson that we featured in the last video. That one, same thing. It's not the prettiest watch out there. If you don't want to have a watch that's costing 30, 40, 50,000 dollars, you might go for something like this. Yes, it's a more entry-level piece in this vintage world, but it's something that's very affordable for someone that wants something vintage, something that's unique, something that's gonna be a one-time thing, because I'm never gonna get a Bart Simpson that looks like this one. This one has a average case, it's been polished before. The dial is quite pretty in certain angles with brown tones, and the bezel is mostly blue. Does have its defects, but it's all original. It's not a doctored watch. This is the way it came, and I really appreciate it for what it is. Then we're gonna go to something a lot more rare. It's a pointed crown guard 5512, but a very rare Swiss only, no underline dial. I've never seen another one like this, so this is most probably one of the really early tritium dials from the time. And most probably for this particular model, it's the earliest known dial. I've never seen something similar on the market. I haven't seen one in all my years collecting or reselling watches. And what's cool about this one is really the fact that everything is original in terms of the dial, but most probably the insert was replaced later with a long 5 instead of maybe a red triangle from the time. And the hands are also a bit newer, so you can tell that most probably there was a service done maybe in the mid 60s to the late 60s. So you do have parts that are still from the 60s, but a bit later. Um, the dial is overall immaculate as it sits. It just developed micro bubbles throughout and it became a matte dial instead of being a very glossy dial. It's not something that you see every day, but it's something that's unique to this particular watch. Then we're going to continue with the 7016. This one is particularly nice because of the ultra faded insert that is extremely faded. We barely see the numbers anymore in certain angles. Overall, all original, including the crystal, which is the Superdome. We can see here from this angle here how thick the crystal is overall. So those are the early crystals for the 5513s and the Submariners from Tudor from the time without the date. Tropic 19 from the time that was Superdome is distorting the whole dial in a way, so it does give a impression of having a bigger dial. And also it's very interesting when you have it in your hands. Basically you have a magnifying glass effect or like loop effect on the whole dials. All the micro details are really enhanced and it makes it look really nice overall. The last one of the bunch is the 5513 with a really even patina. It's extremely clean for the age. This one doesn't have any defect that I've seen that came from a previous service or from someone adding too much oil to the watch or to the barrel itself. So that's a bit more rare in this market to see something like this after 40, 50, 60 years. That's what I prefer about vintage Submariners is the fact that each one is going to be unique even if you see 50, 100, 200 of them. The inserts are going to be different. The defects on each one is going to be different if they have any. The patina is going to be more or less desirable on each one of them. Again, that's going to be something that it's going to be for you. Each watch is going to be different. Each watch is going to be unique, and you have to choose what you like in case you enjoy collecting those or you want your first or third or fifth Submariner in your collection. Choose wisely. Choose what suits you best. Thank you very much for today. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and we're gonna do more vintage videos